You, Chelsea, I see you online, as you are the sixth member of the board.
And it looks like I am able to unmute.
Great. Perfect. So I think we have only one order of business. That would be to approve the minutes from our meeting of last week, which are on page 9 of our packet.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Vagley moves, Commissioner Olson seconds approval of the minutes of the Board of Appeal and Equalization from June 16th of 2026. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Ward.
The meeting minutes are accurate, but the whole system is, I feel, flawed. I did do some more research on that whole concept. If you don't have a walkthrough, then the county board has no leverage or power. It's line 8 on a statute, but I could not find that referenced anywhere. In all the articles that you read about Minnesota property taxes and assessing, even the training, I skimmed through the training again to look for that particular item and couldn't find it about that having to do a walkthrough other than the county board has no control. And the whole concept of the county board not having any control, but an appointed hired staff person has the ultimate power just seems ironic in our local government. So I will continue to work with some state legislators and see if we can't get some clarity or possibly some change in there. And then I do appreciate Ms. Brandt sent out the list with the comments of why things were changed. And I find that the criteria that they use to make those changes, I need to learn more about, because it seemed a little discretionary for a staff, and again, to make those changes. Of course, we have to approve them. Just seemed like it was a little discretionary or lacked clarity. And talking to a lot of constituents there. I'll vote.
We're not gonna get zoomed again.
Okay, so here's no further discussion. All those in favor of approving the minutes, the Board of Appeal and Equalization. I'm going to do a roll call vote because we have someone attending remotely. So Commissioner I'm sorry. Wilbright.
Aye.
Commissioner Vagley.
Aye.
Commissioner Elsing.
Aye.
Commissioner Olson.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson. Aye. So passes unanimously. Only business.
Motion to adjourn.
You?
Yeah, what's the next one?
Not because you live in a nice house or a small house or a big house or, size of house shouldn't matter. Everybody needs the same services.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. Should we go ahead and start without Commissioner Elton? Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Would you all join me in Reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming, everybody. I see we have a lot of guests. Welcome. I will tell you in advance, we are not discussing the budget or library funding tonight, but I'm certainly happy to see you here and I will applaud you for your civic engagement. We begin our meetings with a public comment period and I will invite folks to come up to the podium and please try to keep your comments to 2 minutes. But before we start, I understood that Chelsea Wilbright did want to participate in public comment. And I'm going to ask her if she can unmute herself first.
Chastity Wilbright or Chastity Sarai?
Nope, Chelsea Wilbright.
Okay, sorry, Chelsea.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. I think I was racing, you beat Heidi back to her desk. So yes, this is Chelsea Wilbright, Auditor Treasurer. I just wanted to make a public comment on item 7.2, being the liquor licenses you guys are approving today. When this item was submitted for approval, we didn't know at the time that Bass Camp has elected to no longer have their off-sale license. So they will not be submitted to the state after tonight's meeting, after your guys' approval. I also wanted to note that the Twin Bluffs Bar has not turned in any items and we have been unable to contact the owner. Their liquor license will expire June 30th. If they don't get all of that documentation to us ASAP. We will submit the rest of them to the state tonight after your approval, but Twin Bluffs will not be submitted to the state until it is run through the sheriff's department for background check, the attorney for approval, and my office for signature after your guys' have approved it, as well as then state final approval. So that one will not be pushed forward to the state at this time.
So if they,
Will she stay online so when we discuss that?
I think that's why she's talking now. If it isn't submitted, will we need to approve it separately and not as a part of today's agenda? And
I don't believe so. I think if you approve, I just want you to know that if you approve them as a whole, Bass Camp and Twin Bluffs will not be submitted to the state at this time.
Okay, so,
Bass Camp won't ever, Twin Bluffs won't be until they get all their ducks in a row.
okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, thank you.
Well, if-
Wait, I guess Commissioner Ward has a question for you.
Yeah, so if not following protocol, if Twin Bluffs does not have a liquor license, how fast is the turnaround time for them to obtain it? Because we have a major holiday coming up and if they don't have a liquor license, I mean, they struggle, a little out county bar restaurant struggles anyway, and I don't need to make them struggle more, the 4th of July and everything. So how quick can the turnaround time be?
That depends on a lot of factors because it has to go through a lot of steps. For the
Okay.
county portion of those steps, we've expedited it drastically by using DocuSign. It goes first to a member of the sheriff's department to do the background check, then to Ron himself for signature, then to Karen for signature, then to myself for signature, and then we're able to get it to the state. So the county portion of it could probably get done in a day or two, but I don't know how long the state will take to approve it.
Okay, and how have we notified the business that this is in jeopardy?
We have attempted to call the business. I even attempted to call the new business the same owner has, which is the Goodview Bar. I was unable to, Twin Bluffs doesn't open till 3. The new bar and grill in Goodview doesn't open till 1 p.m. I had tried calling earlier, but there is no voicemail set up, so we could not leave a message. A member of my staff also emailed them through the contact we had from prior years, and we have had no response.
Okay, but we haven't sent any like registered letter or anything like that. Or I see the sheriff and deputy are saying, could they make a personal call? I mean, again, I don't want to jeopardize them not being able to do business over 4th of July.
The mayor.
These things were due to us on May 1st.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to make a drive down to after 3 o'clock and see if,
Could you stop?
I could, but I don't have any. authorization. All I can say, I can just say, hey, you gotta do this.
Yeah. Well, and if we didn't approve it tonight, which I don't think we can,
Right.
then it isn't gonna get approved until the 14th.
Yep.
Of July. Because it's 3 weeks until we meet again.
Well,
That's why I'm not suggesting that we like amend the approval for the rest of the liquor licenses. But just know that we can't submit it to the state without all of those other prior authorizations.
Rebecca Church, but are you saying that the board approve swim clubs state? Or are you saying they cannot approve?
Rebecca, you are very hard to hear, so I don't know if you're just not close to your microphone or your computer's in the way, but I believe you asked that the board can't, if the board can or cannot approve them. There is not a place on the liquor license, the actual application that gets sent to the state. There isn't a place for the county board's signature. It's just the sheriff, the attorney, and myself before it goes to the state. So I believe they could pass the general motion to approve all of the non-municipal liquor licenses. And then if all the ducks get in a row, then we could still submit it to the state. Open to your interpretation.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we are gonna proceed now with the regular public comment period. Please step to the podium, tell us your name and your address, or if you don't
on?
want to give us your street address, at least tell us where you live.
Think it's on. Is this on? Oh, I don't mind giving you my street address.
And please try to limit your comments to 2 minutes.
It should be okay.
Okay.
My name is Blondine Berthelot. I live at 169 West Broadway in Winona. I've been there since 1998. I understand that you're not discussing cuts in library funding today, but I wanted to make sure that if and when you do, you remember how much our 3 county libraries are valued by county residents. I urge you to continue to support the libraries at least at the same level you have in the past. Cuts would result in reduced hours, cancellations of programs and services. Our libraries are good stewards of the limited resources they have. Funding them is never wasted. As the president of the Friends of the Winona Public Library, I can attest that yes, we do fundraise and help support programs, special events that mean a lot to library patrons. We have also contributed to repairs and renovations of the building. However, the mission of our organization is not to make up for the underfunding of operating costs. To quote the Minnesota Association of Library Friends, libraries are more than buildings and bestsellers. They are gathering spots, learning hubs for everyone, safe spaces, and cornerstones for informed, thriving communities. Libraries are the key to literacy and education, and they deserve your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diana Seart. I live at 1426 West 7th or West Broadway, apartment 207. I'm originally here from Goodview, but now I am in the city and I'm still part of the county. I'm speaking on behalf of the library. I am a friend of the Friends of the Library. I'm 79 years old. I have been going to the library since 1956. My dad and I rode a bicycle to go to the library to get books. And we read them and returned them. And then when I got older, my friends in the neighborhood, and we rode bicycles down there, got library books, went down, got some popcorn at this place on West 4th Street and went to the levee, read our books, took them back to the library and got new books. I would like to say that we've had, at that time, they had limited story time hours. When I became a mother, I did take my children and them to the library, but I would drive them then. And they would get books and we would take them and read them and we would take them back almost the same day. But by that time, story time started and there was things for children, which have continued over the years. And now as a grandmother, I did the same with all of my grandchildren. How important is developing minds of little ones? And if you came to the library, I get a little teary-eyed, but if you came to the library and saw all these little kids going in and out of the library, and if we end up with cuts to that, I'm afraid what would happen to the helpers to those little children in that library part. I guess that's about it. And I was just going to say, I wore my wonderful Mad Hatter shirt. And how would I have learned about the Mad Hatter except about reading Alice in the Wonderland book? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bernadette Murphy and I live at 750 West 5th Street. And I am an adamant supporter of the library. As we all know, library offers many great programs. These programs, like that of a community center, help people of all demographics. There are book-focused programs for adults and kids, art and story events for families, presentations from local artists and authors, services for folks getting back into or just starting out in the workforce. Libraries help students further their education. These are programs that benefit the entire population. Library accessibility and events are an important part of a thriving community. Higher literacy rates are associated with healthier populations, less crime, greater economic growth, and higher employment rates. We could put money towards infrastructure that is a studied, known, and proven benefit to the current and future community. It seems that the Winona Public Library is going to be hardest hit with these cuts. I'm not sure exactly how to divert the money, but there's a possibility that money could be diverted. The city has millions of dollars to put towards other infrastructure, and I believe that thousands of dollars could be put towards the library. If there's enough need and demand for the library to be funded, I believe it can be done. Please invest in the future of the library system. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am Sue Amble, 46586 Wasp Valley Drive in La Crescent. I am a Winona County resident and I rely on the library for not only books, but the programming the library offers. The library is a third place for me and many others to meet, learn, and collaborate with others. I urge you to maintain funding for the La Crescent, Winona, and St. Charles Library. Cutting the funding for La Crescent only means a loss of $3,500. But while it might seem small, $4,000 is our entire programming budget for the year. This could mean a significant drop in programming or a big reduction in our materials. And these materials are programs and high-cost materials like box books, large print books, early literacy kits. Programs include speakers, entertaining and educational programs, nutrition classes, children's programs, and programs for toddlers and seniors. Please consider that the Winona County residents who use the library made up 3,842 checkouts in the last year. Winona County to maintain our funding, that's less than $1 a checkout. Please consider maintaining the funding to the library. Carefully consider this as this decision impacts all ages and demographic groups, and healthy library programs promote healthy communities. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there a copy for everyone? Okay, I'm going to give it to thank you very much. I'm going to give it to the administrator. Make sure it gets included in the pack.
Ready. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Katrina Hurley and my address is 415 East Howard Street here in Winona, but I'm actually here on behalf of the city of St. Charles to speak about the county library funding as part of the 2027 budget process. I understand that this conversation is still preliminary and decisions will not be made tonight, but that is exactly why we're here tonight.
The time to talk about the value of public service is before the numbers are locked in, not after the decision has already been made. Winona County has discussed considering an estimated $76,702 reduction in funding the St. Charles, La Crescent, and Winona public libraries. For the city of St. Charles, that would mean $11,500 approximately. But reducing funding does not reduce the need. It does not reduce the county resident use, nor does it lower the cost of books, materials, programs, open hours, or staff time. It does not make the library easier to operate. It simply moves the burden closer to the communities where these libraries are located. And for St. Charles, that does matter. The St. Charles Public Library is not only a city service, it is a regional resource. Roughly 1/4 of measurable library use comes from the Winona County residents who live outside of the city of St. Charles. Those residents use the library because it is close, trusted, and accessible. So when the county support is reduced, the cost of serving those residents does not disappear. It shifts further onto the St. Charles taxpayers and puts pressure on the very services people rely on. Our library has already worked hard to stretch every dollar through grants, donations, partnerships, and careful programming. That work should be recognized, but donations cannot replace a stable public support for a public service that county residents continue to use. This is simply not just a question of meeting the minimum state funding requirement. The minimum should be a floor. It should not become the measure of partnership, responsibility, or fairness. We are asking the county to keep the current library funding amount as it is, or keep and also work forward towards supporting the actual county use, and then also keep this issue part of the public budget conversation. Regional support needs to be addressed for our regional use. Thank you.
Thank you.
I only thought it was 5 years, so. Okay.
There you go. You want to pass that down? Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to participate in our public comment period?
Good evening, Commissioners. I did not plan to speak. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for the opportunity. My name is Allison Kwame. I live 309 East 10th Street here in Winona. I've been a resident of the county for 21 years, resident of Minnesota all but 4 years of my 47 years of life. I grew up in northwestern Minnesota in a county that my town was about 25 miles from the closest public library. I went to a K-12 school, had a very small library. The only books I had were probably hand-me-downs that I can remember. Around the time when I really became an active reader, we moved. I won't get into the personal reasons, but we ended up being in a place that had a really great public library and had a really great school library, and it exploded my imagination and my ability to think, to be a problem solver, and it's kind of a shock at where I am today, considering where I began. I'm a librarian at Winona State University, been a professional librarian for over 20 years, very grateful for the experience. The thing, in between the two meetings, it was mentioned about resources, matching services, and et cetera. The thing that people have to realize is that today's information resources are expensive. You as an individual would never be able to afford all of the subscriptions that you can get at the public library. Never. You would never be able to afford it unless you're a millionaire. It just wouldn't happen. It's so expensive. Electronic resources, databases are expensive. We have a database that costs $90,000 a year. You as an individual would not be able to afford that. But as a community, as a group, when we all contribute, we can all have access to it. And when you start chipping away at that, where people get their information from is TikTok, Snap, all these other things that give you a snippet of information, but not the whole truth, not all of the information, not a balanced perspective. You don't have access to all of the variety of voices and perspectives that you would have if you didn't have the library. Once you cut the library, you cut the ability to have a grounded, multi-perspective view of the world, because the library is going to have access to many things and affordable to everybody. You don't have to be somebody who has $1 million. You don't have to be somebody that only has $10,000. You can still come to the library and use the resources because we're all equal there. And that's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to participate in public comment? I'm going to ask at least one more time. Please come up and share your thoughts with us.
Hey, my name is Josh Murphy. I'm not here for the library, but I agree, I like the library. I'm here to comment on item 7.1, the intergovernmental agreement with Rice and Steele County. I'm here only as a resident and as a taxpayer in Winona County, but my professional and volunteer experience in this county has contributed to some of my perspectives and insight. The primary responsibility of every level of government is to ensure the safety and well-being of the community that it serves. The current situation with the dispatch center reflects a failure by the county board and the county administrator to fill that responsibility. Winona County owes its residents, businesses, taxpayers, visitors, and employees public safety services that are robust, reliable, redundant, and effective. The county's inability to adequately staff its 911 center is none of those things. It's unstable, unsustainable, and potentially dangerous. The public safety is already an environment filled with risk and uncertainty. Failing to provide adequate 911 services only increases those risks for both the people calling for help and the emergency responders serving the county. A public safety system is only as strong as its weakest link. The need to contract with RSC 911 makes it clear that the first and arguably the most important link in that chain, our 911 center, is failing. Routing Winona County's emergency calls to a dispatch center 90 miles away creates a system held together with little more than duct tape and hope. It may function, but it will not function as well as a properly staffed and supported local system. Even the agreement itself acknowledges these limitations. It states that services provided are secondary to RSC 911 obligations to member agencies, and that the assistance will be provided on a best effort basis. When the issue at hand is public safety and when the issue at hand is the safety of our community and our emergency responders, a best effort is an alarmingly subjective standard. The time for effective leadership and management of county operations is long overdue. The inability to act, the mismanagement and micromanagement of staff and services, and the continued hesitation to invest in essential public safety functions have created a legitimate public safety concern. The residents of Winona County deserve a system that is stable, adequately staffed, and locally accountable. I urge you all to treat this not as a temporary staffing issue, but as a public safety priority that demands immediate and sustained action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here who would like to participate in public comment? And that would include folks who are online. Probably you can unmute yourself. If you can't, put something in the chat.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me and thank you for discussing everything today. My name is Kayla Olson. I live at 1545 Homer Road. I have lived in Winona for about almost 5 years now, and I'm 31 years old. So a demographic we haven't heard from today. So I want to speak again about the library and the library's funding. I too am an academic librarian working over at Winona State University. And just to reiterate, libraries are integral to social infrastructure. They facilitate lifelong learning and they nurture a spectrum of literacies. We've talked about books. We love books. That is one form of literacy that's so important. And there are additional literacies that libraries help with. If you imagine, say you're not great with computers. Not all of us are. I was kind of a weirdo. I grew up on the internet at an age where not everyone had phones in their pockets yet, and yet we all kind of had like one of those big home computers. But not everyone has access to that type of help. Not everyone has access to computer, lab classes in school. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you are trying to learn digital literacy skills, whether it just be able, to send emails to your family members, to send, digital cards to your grandkids, or even to do some really in-depth research about Winona history and, cultures around the world, that's not easy. It's not intuitive, but a public librarian can work with you on that one-on-one. That one-on-one assistance is incredibly important, and it is at risk if there are cuts to this system. So libraries also provide skill building opportunities for job seekers, which is really important. If you imagine, God forbid, any of us have been homeless before, where does one go to fill out paperwork? Where does one have access to the internet to try and get a job, to fill out social resources? You go to the public library. And then lastly, to finish up here, libraries connect communities with their history and facilitate cultural programming. And of course, they open up worlds of information, and they aim to remove as many barriers as possible. So please continue funding our local public library. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who would like to participate in public comment? Please come forward to the microphone. I'm going to ask one more time. Is there anyone here who would like to participate in public comment? Hearing none, public comment is closed. We're going to move on with the rest of our agenda.
We want to give them a moment to, it looks like they're anxious to leave.
You're certainly welcome to stay.
Yeah, we would encourage you to stay. Actually, we locked the doors. You have to stay. But if they want to leave, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have some minutes that we could approve.
I'll move to approve items 4.1, 5.1, 5.2, 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4. If that's okay with the board.
Okay. Commissioner Vagley has moved and Commissioner Olson has seconded approval of County Board minutes, Board of Adjustment from April 16th, Parks and Environment from February 4th, Board of Adjustment March 19th, and Planning Commission March 19th this year. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Does the county attorney's office want to adjust the agenda? No?
Thank you.
Mr. Vagley?
2 comments at the end, please.
Okay. Commissioner Elsing?
Comment at the end, I'd like to pull 7.7.
Sure. And we'll make 8.0. And you have a comment. Mr. Olson?
For the sake of discussion, let's pull 7.1.
Okay, we'll make it 8.01. Anything else?
Nope.
Mr. Ward?
I would like to pull others that haven't been pulled. 7.4.
5 and 6 as well?
And 7.5, 7.6, and 7.7, they're all kind of related.
Yeah.
And I got the sheriff and everything, 7.9. I have a question on that one. And then I have I guess it would be board action, and then a comment on an event attended. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm going to make repeat the announcement about spongy moth treatments. Okay, and so 7.1 is going to be 8.01. 7.4 and 6, I have set that as 8.02, 03, and 04. 7.9 is 05. And 7.7 is 8.01.
Would that be 8.0 because 8.01 was 7.1?
Yeah, that is accurate. Okay,
All covered.
yeah. Maybe we should just.
What
discuss-
don't we want to pull?
Yeah, the entire
If I
consent
did do them
agenda.
all, it would save me some time.
Yeah,
There's still 3.
yeah. So,
Issues with too much going on consent.
okay, so there were a lot of
4.7
things,
I was gonna pull, but I'm glad you did.
a lot of changes. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the?
Second, the amended agenda.
Thank you. Commissioner Elsing moves, Commissioner Ward seconds approval of the agenda as it was amended. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? Please say nay. Motion carries. Administrator Holte, could you read the consent business
Great.
that is left and for the record?
Okay. 7.1 was pulled. 7.2, approve renewal of liquor on, off sale and beer off sale licenses.
I do.
Did you want to hold that?
And I got just a question. We were told that we don't approve them. It's the sheriff, the county attorney and the auditor treasurer. So why do they show up on our agenda? It just a
It
formal?
does need approval of
From
the
the
board to
board.
go to the state.
Okay, all right, that's fine. It just sounded like we didn't have a role in it.
You do.
It's two parts. Correct.
7 point, correct.
Okay,
Or
all
more,
right.
or more.
7.3, approve CASA 44 cattle pass replacement with 24-foot culvert. Oops. 7.4 was pulled. 7.5, 7.6, and 7.7 were pulled. 7.8, approve payment to Caitlin Lang for well decommissioning. 7.9 was pulled. 7.10, approve amended 2026 fee schedule, and 7.11, confirm payment of disbursements.
I'll move to approve the remaining consent items.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Bagley moves, Commissioner Elson seconds. Approval of the consent business as it was read. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Say nay. Okay, consent business is approved. We move on to general business 8.0. Previously, this was 7.7. Approved statement of work from Heartland Business Systems for household hazardous waste camera project. And I believe that this is on page 98 of our agenda.
Correct. I just simply pulled it for a little clarification, obviously reading County Attorney Sonivan's letter, or I think she wrote that. Was that you?
No, it's
I think so. Just trying to get a little clarification. Obviously, I pulled this the first time, just trying to understand, are we digging deeper into a hole? What does this look like? What should we do? Here we go. So I was gonna pull 7.4 through 7.7, so I appreciate Commissioner Ward did that, but I just wanted to, this was the bigger one and I wanted to stay focused on if somebody else wanted the other one.
Yeah, so I think I sent you as much justification as I could. Simply stated. We've been using Verkada for years. We're building on that system per the request of different departments, not coming from IT. This is us helping the other departments get these cameras in place. It started with the courts, with their antiquated systems, and wiring and cameras. We did the installation of that 2 months ago. Ross has been in dire need of a camera upgrade in his area, so that's where this one's coming from, with half his funding coming from funds that he had in his budget. Like I stated in my emails, Verkada is the standard used by pretty much every county. And you touched on it last week, Mr. Elsing. Sorry, Josh and I grew up together, so it's hard to call him Mr. Elsing, and he's younger than me.
Yeah. Hey, having on the young.
So, there are a few things, you mentioned going a cheaper route that, we have infrastructure in place. I didn't realize even until I started providing more justification to you that cameras such as ring cameras, and they're actually illegal to install in government facilities, so that's not even an option because of the standards and security standards. So I'm happy to provide you more. I'm really here to just help move this project forward that's been started several years ago. Get us to where we need to be.
Jump in here quick. I think the real question, Chad, we were just, the whole point of pulling this was to just question the overall costs. It's not a question of the need. So I think we could just wipe the need
Okay.
off the table.
Sure.
It's a question of in business and government, you start down a road and it gets too costly to get back out because that's what happens. You get in the hole. Companies know that. They're not dumb. And once they get you, they got you because it's what we've always done and it would cost too much to get back out. So, and when we begin to look at the cost per camera, per unit, per anything that you do, I just began to say, boy, that seems, just very high.
Sure.
And are we going to continue to go down this road where things need to get replaced, things happen, and we're going to continue to see this in a scope of, people, library funds and everything else, it's every dollar counts in this situation. So I guess the question is after reading our attorney's response to this, there were some red flags is what I saw. And again, we're not questioning the need. I think it's questioning the procedure and are we falling into a trap with some of these companies where 10 years from now, we just can't see a way out,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what I'm looking for.
So Commissioner Ward and then Commissioner Bingley.
Okay, I would agree with Commissioner Elsing. Attorney Sonneman brought up a thing, and you know, the old way of doing business was a handshake and across the thing. We don't do that anymore. It is so convoluted. Everything's getting so convoluted that this company does this vendor does that. So if the system fails and we get ourselves in a jam, who do you go to? You know, we don't seem to have a direct connection. And I know it was brought up last time. We have some local companies that do similar things. I prefer to do business locally. But I guess maybe they just didn't have the scope and scale to do.
We did speak with other companies, and get quotes back in the day, and
Right, and
we've,
how much different was it? 10%, 20%?
I
Nickel,
don't
dime?
recall. This was several years ago.
Okay,
But HBS is considered a local company because they're in our region. They also do shop for best government rates. We are on a government rate. If you saw the cost of these cameras for folks like Dahl, who has Verkada systems, it's, you know, 3 times what we're paying, just because we're a government entity. So
we didn't find any government grants. I mean, it was a federal mandated thing that we not use Chinese things, and I still would struggle to find a camera today that doesn't have some
yeah,
component from.
these
China.
are American made, but
Well, American assembled, or, you know, there you can play with those terms too. I'm just frustrated with the convolutedness of all these contracts and how it always seems to, well, it's not me, you know, I'm not held responsible. And I think that's what Attorney Sonneman was saying, be cautious.
we have been using Verkada for many, many years. I don't know, we have some older ones, 10, 12 years that we've had in place. Like I said, it's industry standard, so.
I apologize, what page is the actual contract that we're signing? There's a lot here, I mean, and there's a lot.
I don't have that in front.
Starts on page 98.
Is the actual
contract
contract.
starts on.
Yeah, and
Commissioner Bingley and then you, Commissioner Olson.
yeah.
I want to thank Commissioner Elsing for raising the questions at the last meeting. Those were fantastic questions. After we received the memo, the document from County Attorney Sonneman, I asked Chad some follow-up questions. I appreciate how you answered each of those questions. I understand the difference between government level in terms of security and other requirements. I'm going to, not meant to shut down discussion, but I'm going to just get a formally at the table. I'm going to move to approve item 7.7. To get it on the table.
I'll second that.
Further discussion. And one last thing, I want to thank Chad for taking the time to go through all my questions in between the meetings.
Anytime,
Thank you for that.
Unfortunately, I wish that could have been shared with all of us.
Yeah,
Maybe that would have.
Commissioner Olson has asked to.
I did send, I believe I sent justification and some documents to every board
Yep,
member.
yep.
His were
Follow-up
simply,
questions,
it's
follow-up
follow-ups, but
questions,
yeah.
Asking for
Not
more
gonna-
clarity.
Sent an initial one.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I have the unfortunate obligation of changing a lot of cameras out in Houston County in our jail and on our courthouse. Now I'm changing out the Chinese, cameras that we put in 6 years ago and paid a contractor to put in. And, so I do appreciate that a lot of the cost is the wiring, the connection, the connectivity, the cameras themselves are interchangeable. But the wiring, aspect of it, and then to have.
And
the
that is
control-
local. We did get, Digicom does our work.
And to have the control center in order to, record and hold that data. So I do appreciate, the work that goes into it, and, it's good to have good equipment.
Appreciate it. And that is a large cost is that cloud backup, the storage and the backup is that's a big cost as well, in general.
Commissioner Ward.
Another issue that's come before us, who monitors these cameras? Is it dispatch?
No.
No.
Todd's team in HR requests video from us in IT if something comes up, if there's a theft, If there's an incident, Maureen, Todd and their team reaches out to us, we pull the camera. It's not monitored 24/7 per se, but it is on 24/7. So we do get requests from Todd's team quite a bit.
Mr. Elsing?
I guess my final statement to this is, Chad, obviously, you know, and we talked afterwards, none of
Yeah.
this was brought up in a facetious matter. The very first day I sat on this board, no different than all the different board of directors and different things I've been on, the different business situations, is you begin to question everything. And when you see contracts are usually one of the first things you begin to question. And you can probably see my pattern as a county commissioner, just the same as everything else. The very first one was actually for the sheriff. I questioned the 5% automatic renewal every year, right? You guys remember that?
I remember.
Very first thing. And because if somebody isn't paying attention, that's how government inflates. That's how this gets out of control. So the idea here of bringing this up was simply to say, here's an item that's easily identifiable. Most people can recognize general costs, and to say, hey, as administrator, as staff, as commissioners, I'm not gonna be here forever. Are we paying attention to these things? And are we digging ourselves into a hole that later on we find out, because I've done this, I'll say it again, it's difficult to get back out. So I bring these things up, I'm not gonna say theoretically or hypothetically, but practically, to say, let's question these things in government, because that's how we're gonna remain a low tax-based system. And an attraction for people to live here, because that's our number
I
one
don't
thing right now.
disagree, yeah.
So that's
You
my,
know,
vote for
and
it. I'm gonna
I'll-
vote for it because I know
Yep.
we need it.
Yep.
But I want to question every one of these because I feel that's our job, checks and balances.
And I'll agree, the contracts in general for IT and just everyone, as Karen stated, have become so complex. And so we do rely heavily on Rebecca and Karen's team. Steve and I went back and forth on a contract this week several times. They catch the wording. They do a great job. So I appreciate your team as well.
And I think the last thing with that is, are we willing to do a better job at negotiating some of these just erroneous terms sometimes that fall into place, these escalators, the automatic things that are so easy to do, the get you gotchas and the fine prints, and rather than it's so easy to let them go. In fact, just shortly before I came to the meeting, having a discussion with quite a large company, and the discretionary, by large company, I mean, they're a $20 billion company, and the discretionary unit of staff being disconnected from the financial wherewithal of how they spend a dollar. Because they're so far disconnected that it's easy to do it. And then the terms get bigger and bigger, in which it becomes easier to do it. Today it's 100, it's 1,000, it's 100,000, it's 1,000,000, it's 10 million. So that's all I'm trying to do.
We are spending a lot of time on contract review it as we speak with Maureen, my team. So we're deep in it, not just this one, but all.
Mr. Ward?
Yes, come November, we will have a new county attorney. I'm looking probably at her right now. It's always bothered me somewhat that a lot of these contracts, and you're right, they're complicated, and I'm not, you know, like I say, I did a lot of business over a handshake, not these convoluted documents. But I would hope, many times we see that they've been approved to form. What does that really mean? Does that mean it's the best deal for Winona County taxpayers to pay it? I guess I would hope that maybe we put somehow some checks and balances in any of these contracts, that we know that it's, you know, and I know a lot of work goes into them. And it's unfortunate we have to spend so much time checking who we're trying to do business with, because they're trying to take advantage of the taxpayer of Winona County, which, you know, they're out, they need to make profit. I know, I made profit. You got to make a profit when you're in business, but I would hope the county attorney's office can do something to give us a better assurance that it is the best deal for Winona County property taxpayers, because they're the ones footing the bill. Thank you.
I am going to support this motion. Did everybody get this? Maybe it came in everyone else's.
It was in your.
Oh,
mail.
I dropped that in your, just additional information.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
it
dropped
does a
that.
good job of talking about why it's a 10-year contract and what the benefits are and how that guarantees the cost, even though there's inflation. And that there's hardware failure.
Document, who's,
Verkada.
That's from Verkada.
It was in your mail bin.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
picked
okay.
up your mail.
Hardware failure incurs no new capital request for the county. So, yeah, I'm going to support this. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for all the work.
you.
Zach.
Don't leave.
And Ross.
Don't leave.
Okay. Item 8.01 previously was 7.1, and that is the approval of intergovernmental agreement for emergency communication and support services with Rice and Steel 911 Center. For folks in the audience, the county has a dispatch center. We've lost a number of staff, so we don't have enough staff to man. And the contract is a temporary 3-month contract so that we will get some assistance from Steele County. Mr. Elsing?
That's his fault.
I-
I was just raising, I figured he was gonna say something.
Commissioner Olson?
Discussion?
I know that this was on the agenda. I asked some questions. I have my morning conversations with Maureen. We'll write a book someday. And I would just like the public to know more about what this is about, as we had a community member and law enforcement speak to it. I think it's important that the public understands it better, and maybe Ron could present that.
I think we're going to have a team of presenters here.
Yeah, I think we all have thoughts, and I guess just to explain what's going on, since I've been sheriff, we have never been at full staff in the dispatch center. We're allotted 13, including a dispatch supervisor. She has given her resignation, moving on to another job. So we're gonna be down even more. So we have been talking with county administration and amongst ourselves here as a team, along with Jennifer Lavala, the dispatch supervisor, on how we can put bodies in the seats at the dispatch center to answer the 911 calls. And the best that we were able to come up with at this point is a temporary fix using Rice and Steele County's dispatch center. That's kind of the basics of it. We're really down staff. We really need 8. They work 12-hour shifts. So you have 2 on the day shift, 2 on the night shift, and of course they're opposites. So we can run it with that, but that doesn't leave you any opportunity for sickness or vacations. So with the contract that we're proposing, Rice Steel would provide us with a dispatcher over in their center. They would work through teams with a dispatcher in our center. And I guess Jeff maybe or Ben can speak to it a little better, but that's the basics of it. I guess I would answer any questions or let them make comments also.
Commissioner Olson, you have a question?
Is there any cross training between jail staff in a pinch? I know it's a specialized job, but I know that
It is a very specialized job,
Understand.
and that's part of the issue that we've had with why we're understaffed. One of the reasons is because we have a long and in-depth training process. You really need somebody in there that knows what they're doing. I don't think any one of the 3 of us could go in there and do their job. Ben would probably be the closest because for the last few weeks, he's been in dispatch a lot. But it's kind of like he was pointing out to us at a meeting the other day. Ben, go ahead and sit down and field the calls. I need to do whatever. And maybe he can explain it better, but basically, you answer the phone, it's not going to be a 911 call. It's going to be a general phone call. He answered the phone and it was a 911 call transferred from Olmsted County. Now what? So no, we can't cross-train our transport or our jailers or our deputies or ourselves. We have somebody on light duty right now. My comment to the group was, let's train him in. Well, he'll be off light duty before he'd be trained in well enough to take over a shift.
I'm familiar with smaller communities where I work, Houston County, where they alternate in there between jail staff and
Yep,
dispatch.
they're trained in dispatch and they're trained to work in the jail, but they've had the training is my point. So, did you have anything, Jeff?
Commissioner Elsing and then Commissioner Bagley.
So is that something we could do, is begin to, so a little bit of research on this, that's a high turnover rate nationwide.
Nationwide.
So we're not gonna solve that here in Winona County. So we have to learn to adapt, just like in business. I'm not gonna solve urea prices doubling because of any given reason, but I gotta learn to adapt. So that's my thing, is that, how do you solve a problem realistically and affordably? And so Commissioner Olson brought up cross-training some staff. Smaller communities maybe don't have the budget, resources, personnel. So I don't think we're gonna kill this problem just by wishing it away or buying our way out of it. So I would be very open to figure out some other ideas. First of all, I think one of the good things is that just when this got brought up, and I appreciate Mr. Holte reaching out and filling me in about a few things, this was one of them, was that we just don't throw money and jump on it right away, because oftentimes that can lead to a whole new problem. And so, but taking a step back and then working together to find a resource to get us by. It may not be the best, it may not be ideal, but it's better than nothing. And, sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's better than just jumping in. And a lot of times we see that happen. So kind of like the idea of cross training, maybe that could solve part of the problem. And I'm sure there's other things that need to be looked at, but it was, I think the other thing that we're going to see down the road, like it or not, is probably more incentive for, I'm going to say, regionalization. I'm not saying this is what we're trying to do, but I think we're going to see more of that incentive for regionalizations. So maybe something we might be forced to have to look at some point too. I don't know.
I would just say, consider we're in crisis mode here. We need to have people in the seats answering the phones. We can't say, well, you can work tonight by yourself. You can handle it tomorrow during the day by yourself. We need to have at least 2 dispatchers answering calls. They are busy as it is. We can't get by with one. We can't get by with none, obviously. So I'm not saying throw money at it. I'm saying we need to address this the best we can. This was the idea we came up with.
No, it's good. No, I agree.
We have to do something.
Yeah, this is a great idea.
And I know that both Ben and Jeff would have comments they'd like to make too.
Would you like to make them now?
I would like to.
Please go ahead.
So,
And then Commissioner Baker, and then you, Commissioner Ward.
so I agree with a lot of the things Mr. Murphy said. We've been going down this road for a long time. I also agree with you. It's not a Winona County problem. It's a national problem. I was just reading in Dispatch magazine the other day, dispatch centers are historically staffed to minimums, which works great till somebody gets sick, somebody quits, somebody whatever. In business and government, you don't want to pay extra staff to have extra staff, but 911 is the hub of your emergency services. I can have 1,000 cops, if I don't have 2 911 dispatchers, those cops can't do anything. You can't get those cops to come to you. Same with fire, EMS. This is a Band-Aid. It's a good Band-Aid. We looked closer. We've talked with Houston County. We've talked with Wabasha County. We talked with Olmsted. Unfortunately, Mauer beat us to Olmsted and is doing this same agreement right now because they're that short. We probably have never kept up with hiring like we should because we were okay. We were at 8. Things were functioning. We're at 7 now. We're not at 8. We're at 7 with 1 out on FMLA. So we don't have bodies here to fill the seats without doing this.
And then just real quick points. I know you guys have things you want to say too, but on the cross training part, it does sound like a good idea kind of on face value for it. The case I would make for that is twofold really. When you cross-train someone, number one, they get the training. That's the type of job where you need to be not trained on it and then sit in there 3 months later to do the job, trying to remember what you were cross-trained. And then probably the bigger point, I know it sounds self-serving for it, but it's not that we're so overstaffed that we can cross-train somebody else to take them from their job and put them in the dispatch center to work. Because then we're short the spot we just took them from where we're at. So we are at minimums for all of those things I would make the case for, and it's not simple as taking one from another and putting them in there. And other than just reiterating real quick what Ben said, it works and it has worked for us and we've gotten by. Right now, we're not getting by anymore. So just to once again stress, it's crisis mode for us, meaning that we need to have people in those seats doing those jobs.
Mr. Bagley?
To hopefully help move the conversation forward, not to end discussion, I'd like to move to approve item what had been formerly 7.1. This is a short-term crisis. This is a necessary short-term solution. And I look forward to having all the people involved take part in a discussion to figure this out. It's a complex issue with many people. I don't think there's a simple person or group to blame for this. This is a state issue. It's a nationwide issue, but we all have a response. I don't want to duck responsibility, but we also shouldn't lay blame at one person or one group, et cetera. But I hope that we can give you guys the time that you need to get this figured out. So I'll move to approve item 7.1.
Mr. Ward?
First, I want to say, Jennifer, I see she's online. Good luck in your future endeavors. You've given quality years to Winona County. You will be missed. Who will manage? Because she's the key. She was a key. So who will manage the department now?
We're working something out with the county administration and
Okay,
Mr.
right,
Flanger.
because that's critical. Management is critical.
Yes.
So I've sat on for years the Emergency Communications Group in Southeast Minnesota. And almost every meeting I get solicited by Rice Steel, come join them. We have touched on regionalization of dispatch because every county, as we've just said, it's not just us, it's state and national. There aren't enough people to do these jobs. And part of the angst too is that, is there a career path? If you become a local dispatcher, if you want to navigate through the system, you have a limited career path. So I was lucky enough to tour Anoka County, which is a very large, fast growing county in the North Metro. And oh my gosh, you talk about a dispatch organization. I mean, that blow your mind. But, and I did share with Ms. Holte, the state patrol used to have multiple dispatches across the whole state of Minnesota. Now they have 2. So it can be done regionally. And the Emergency Communications Group has considered discussing it. We will have a lot of new sheriffs in town come November. And that's a decision that is important to be made, with all the, as you said, all the parties at the table to do some of those things. But Rice Steel has made quite an investment. They are neighboring counties, but technology, and I think they remodeled recently. I haven't ever seen
They're working on it right now.
or they're working on it and stuff. But they were more than willing and wanting more counties to join them. So Mauer went to Olmsted. Okay, all right. And that would have been a natural for us, but timing and everything. 3 months is going to fly by. So I guess, yeah, this is a hot topic. Problem is who are you going to hire? I mean, again, there just aren't people.
I think
willing enough
Jennifer
to take the job.
Jennifer could address that.
Yeah.
They did accept a lot of applications lately.
Oh, well.
Okay.
A lot compared to what we've had in the past.
Yeah, because it's
recent
been an
past, but-
open, we haven't closed the search.
It isn't that we haven't tried.
No, it isn't, but just as it goes with law enforcement in general, I appreciated Mr. Bagley's comments on it's going to take a group effort to solve this problem, and there's going to be a role for the board, for the county in general, and probably some of those ideas are going to be brought forward to say, here's some ideas that we have to do that. Should have probably been done even earlier in that. But once again, when we're functioning and we're working, we're getting by. Now we're not anymore. So.
Mr. Elsing?
Yeah, the reactive nature to the proactive always is worse. The cost factor to this, is something you and I didn't talk about. We look at what this is. I mean, in your opinion, is the cost factor to this good in comparison to hiring more staff? Because we know the service is going to be here all the time versus a staff member can come and go. But I'm not allocating for anything. I'm just curious, like, if we get driven into a corner where we can't find replacements, because that can happen. Is this a viable option to begin to look at if we can't find candidates that we feel were
Administrator Holte?
administrative? Yes.
So we have some preliminary numbers. I'm not ready to state them outright until I get some more clarification, but I can get back to the board.
And so the
I'd
second
like
part of the question is,
To address that too, if I can.
You will be next.
second part of that question is, do you feel as though, you know, the whole thing I have is not to abandon what we're doing, but if we get ourselves in a position where, as we say, it's so dire, because we need this, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I was actually happy that I didn't realize we could even do this. It was a great thing. Is it something that you think arguably we can kind of toggle on, toggle out, off as we need it somewhat efficiently? Or is this a difficult thing to step in and out of?
I wouldn't recommend stepping in and out of. Most certainly we can analyze that with the team. Again, I'd rather not talk about numbers until I have follow-up questions with Jennifer and the rest of the team.
I'm just curious.
But most certainly I can get back to you.
So I have numbers, won't talk numbers, but when we started this discussion with Rice Steel, to be proactive, to have a backup plan, we wanted a agreement for 24/7 that we could step into if we lose more staff. This was the max they would give us. And 3 months.
Max date, max amount of time.
Max amount of time and max amount of people.
Gotcha.
So it was one shift. We weren't going to use it all, but to be proactive in case something else happened, we wanted the agreement in place.
Is that because, Ben, we're not a member? Is that the reason why they wouldn't do that? Or is this, they're at capacity and this
They
is
don't
all
have
they
They're at capacity.
That- I
They're
was wondering
hiring, they're
why
hiring
that was.
staff
Yeah.
and they're also moving facilities
Okay,
in 3
gotcha.
months. So
That makes sense.
there's a lot of moving parts. Right?
Good.
So
Jennifer.
Jennifer Lavala would like to speak.
Yeah.
Jennifer, can you unmute yourself? If not, Heidi, can you do it?
Just, so you know, Jennifer's in dispatching right now.
I've been able to unmute. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I do just want to speak to this a little bit. I appreciate the discussion. The most pressing matter at hand is to approve this MOU for this 3-month gap to be able to allow our staffing to continue with somebody remaining on site with all of the knowledge and the understanding of how Winona County PSAP operates while working in tandem with somebody at Rice Steel PSAP at the same time to ensure continuity of efforts in our 911 center. I would also like to mention that Rice Steel has generously offered to allow us to utilize their orientation training program that they provide to their new employees. This will help to assist us in the training process while we're short staff, while we're short training officers, to have a better chance and likelihood of hiring and training good candidates, getting them through the training process and getting them to the point where they can help supplement our numbers and improve our staffing levels at the Winona County PSAP. So I think it's great discussion. I don't think we are going to solve all of the issues with what's to come and regionalization and all of the intricacies. And I would love to have that conversation with every single one of you. The most important matter is that we push this forward and know that we're committed to trying to improve our training processes to ensure that we retain all new employees that we receive through this next batch of people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
So we were offered the opportunity to sit in on a session at dispatch. I think many of us as commissioners did do that. I did that. Jennifer and I have had a couple conversations about regionalization. So while I understand the attraction of that, I also, when I got to see what the dispatch operators do for our sheriff and police, that they know our residents, they know where a street address is, or they know where a rural route number is. So they're so familiar with Winona County that I think it gives us a leg up in terms of emergencies. I've shared before with this group that we had a friend who had a pulmonary embolism at our house last summer, and dispatch and Winona ambulance saved his life. And I don't want to do anything that hurts that kind of a response because it is important and it does save lives. So I'm certainly open to the conversation about regionalization, but I do want there to be a robust conversation that includes all of the positives and negatives. And doesn't just talk about the money. So, I will get to you, Commissioner Elsing, Assistant County Attorney Rebecca Church.
I don't know what if I can speak, but I just wanted to echo what you said. It's something I've been thinking the entire conversation. I appreciate this agreement. I know what's needed. I appreciate all the hard work that went into it. But I think I hope that when we talk about regionalization, that it's a very thorough conversation, because I also appreciate that when you call it dispatch, if you say, I know a dispatcher, so I'm like, hey, so-and-so, I need your help. I'm out at Jeremy's parents' house, like, or somebody that calls in all the time. Like, there are things that are very valuable about having our own local dispatch.
Because they know us and they know our region. Okay, so Commissioner Elsing, then I think Ben, and then you, Commissioner Begley.
Yeah, I guess we're, I was just gonna kind of call the question here, and my whole point, I mean, Commissioner Olson pulled this, was to validate this is a great option, but as a business person, we always expect the worst. And so my whole thing is how viable is this option? How can we continue to do this? We're not going to make the problem go away. It's a national issue. So to find those solutions is key. So we're very thankful, and I'm surprised that somebody's willing to do this for us. But also to be open and receptive to what might unconditionally be pushed down on us at some point. So thank you. So I think we can.
Okay, yeah,
move on.
Commissioner Begley, and then I think emergency.
How about Mr. Klinger first and then I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
Just real quick, and it's because I lost my train of thought. I wanted to reply to the Anoka County thing. I toured Anoka County too. It's awesome. It's wonderful. They invested $28 million just in the building and over $500,000 in AI to assist their dispatchers. So.
I want to echo
State of the art.
what Commissioner Elsing was saying is, we for sure need to have that robust discussion about regionalization. Can we move to approve it and then move on and then come back
Is
to
there
it later?
any further discussion? Like, if no one has any? Okay,
Well, who's the lead on this? Sheriff? Who's gonna, we're gonna lead here tonight, and, okay, we got this 3-month contract, but it's gonna go fast. 3 months is gonna fly by. You're the lead?
The sheriff's office.
Okay,
will
all right.
work as a team, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
okay, all those in favor of what was item 7.1, now 8.01, approve intergovernmental agreement for emergency communication support services with Rice and Steel 911 Center. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Okay, we move on to 8.02, which was previously no, that's wrong.
7.4.
Yeah, 7.4, 7.5, and 7.6 are kind of all.
So 8.02, 03, and 04, can we deal with them all at once, Commissioner Ward?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all related.
Okay,
yeah.
here we go.
To approve.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion to approve.
But there's some things, again, a lot of words on paper and stuff.
Yeah.
The term, and the public is still asking a lot of questions about the cyber attack and
Sure.
everything. So there's a term in there, security enhancements. Is it all this just, we're repeating what we've done, or is it truly an upgrade, a better system, and more protection?
Good question. It's an upgrade. We're moving to a cloud-based solution, which in hindsight would have saved us the last 2 incidents.
Yep,
So this was actually a project that was started, we were meaning to start last year in July because of we lost a staff member in IT, and there was a delay in the project kickoff because of the cyber incidents. We're really behind the 8 ball on this, so we are behind on this project. So I asked Sam Michael to re-engage in this a month or so ago. This will really improve it. So for those of you that don't know, OnBase is our document management system. It is very robust. It's very technical. Sam has, I think, a degree in this thing. Some very high level certifications. We had Lois Eckern was here for 30 years. She managed OnBase. She was full-time managing OnBase. Our last OnBase administrator is no longer here as well. So Sam is doing what Sam does, triple duty here. But we really, I don't ask very often for things that I really want to push through and think that we need, that are very important. This is one of them. Moving to a cloud solution, improving the security of on-base, I think is critical, especially with what we've went through the last 6 months. It's a big project. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we've been working on this one on and off for almost a year, and we really need to get it moving. So
prior, I have been asked, and I don't understand all this stuff, and I don't want to, and I don't
Okay.
need to. But
I envy you.
I'll make it through the system. But prior to this, we didn't use cloud-based backups. So now we will be. This is moving us.
But no, but
No.
our email was as a service, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So on-base is, we're moving this entire system to the cloud. So that's correct.
Okay, that was a question that was asked by some tech people. And I said,
And there's a lot of enhancements that are going into the upgrade as well. There's a lot of things that aren't working. Maureen can attest to that, that we really need this upgrade to fix and improve the enhancements. You know, and the ROI on this, I know it's a lot of money. Josh will appreciate the legwork that we did on this. Just having that full-time support person for EDMS and moving it to the cloud and having some of that support taking off of our plate and having just that model there's gonna be a good ROI in that.
and customer service is critical. So does on
Database. We've
do they
been
have good
working with,
customer service?
yes, we've been with Databank since 2015, I believe. They're excellent, very responsive. They've always been great. So,
Okay.
yep, longtime customer.
They're also.
So I was gonna pull this, but not for the reasons why you would think. It's not to question, again, the need. I've been through what the county went through. I've got everything redundantly backed up through 3 different drives, cloud-based. That there is a monetary cap in which it can be to, protecting yourself. The reason why I brought this I wanted to pull this, but Commissioner Ward did, which is good. And part of the reason why I didn't is I really understand it probably better than some. But it is, again, just to make sure that the dollar we spent from the person that gave it to us, which is our taxpayer, is just the best way to go about it. And the justification of any situation, let's say this. It is in a normal course of action in any board or board of directors to question these types of things and to have clear answers as to why to justify spending. I mean, you guys own stock, right? You would hope that somebody at the board of the stock you own is questioning every expense to some capped level. So this is not anybody saying, we don't trust what you're doing. We don't trust what they're doing. We don't trust what the sheriff's doing. It is the job of the board to ensure at the highest level that things happen. So I say that just so we're not picking on anybody, right?
I understand that. And all of the questions that you do bring up, Maureen puts us through the ringer as well. So before we even get to you, we do have conversations extensively there.
So this is not to me a question of a need. In fact, I was surprised we weren't actually going down this road. I'm just, the call to question on this to me is are we doing this in the most fiscally responsible manner that we can? And again, to just challenge that. Otherwise, it's just an open door. Nobody's going to ask us, we'll do what we want. Because it might not be you guys sitting here, and I guarantee it won't be me sitting here forever. So.
Sure.
So one of the benefits of going to this cloud solution, as we've learned in the last 2 cyber incidents, is we lost availability of the program, not only for our staff, but for county constituents that would come into the building. One of the benefits of OnBase is it stores land records and tracks and
I did have one more
vital records that the public can come and use our terminals for to look up. And though we have our own backups on site to restore these things, that's impingent on our other infrastructure being up and readily available to function and restore to. Whereas the cloud solution, theoretically, we wouldn't lose connectivity to, so we could just get to it. The other key piece of it through the last two incidents was the inability to adequately produce agenda items for packets. Yeah, it's,
Looking at you.
you are, I can feel it. It's okay.
We can.
Ms. Holte can attest that it's still not functioning great for her and her staff. It's got some hiccups that are, it would take more time for us to invest to fix them in its current state than it would just to migrate to the new solution and upgrade our, infrastructure with it. So, this would give us higher availability in the event that, you know, there was another unfortunate outage.
Commissioner Elsing and then Commissioner Ward.
So again, I by no means doubting the need and so I go back to the practical aspect. Things I would ask my own side, somebody else. I'm saying that just so you understand my thinking. One of the big things that I always ask is how easy is it to get in or out of something? So when this hole that you dig yourself into and you find it is so expensive to get out, it's cheaper to just keep going, even though that's not the cheapest option or the best option. But you resolve, and companies will pin us in on that, and they know that. So that's the question I have. When we get into these types of contracts, into these cloud-based systems, do you foresee a hole we get into that we can't easily get back out, transfer the information? It costs $2 million to set it up in another location. Do you see where I'm going with this? I don't know the ins and outs, like Commissioner Ward, I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm gonna ask the high level questions with an expectation of, you know.
Yeah, so the way that OnBase works, it's a product supplied by Highlands Solutions, and they rely solely on third parties, resellers, to do the selling of the product as well as the customer support. The Highland staff is only focused on the developments and, you know, future aspects. And DataBank is the approved regional reseller of OnBase. We've been a partner with them, like Chad said, since 2015. And I mean, that's if we were to go somewhere else, you know, we would have to look at a completely different vendor and product. But we've had nothing but success over the years. We've done several projects with DataBank. Their support, their SLAs are within 48 hours, and they have yet to disappoint us on that. They're usually within 12 hours that they get back to us. But I don't foresee it, and it hasn't happened to me in my 6 years of working with them. So
We get rid of the 3% escalator. Nuts.
I would take that over what
103
some
well
of them were
saved.
throwing at us.
Anybody see that? There's an escalator built.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
In there, it's it seems to be
Hate
the
escalator.
standard.
We
Yep.
tried.
Unless
Yeah,
I'm doing it, then they're okay.
You know what, you probably all see me and Sam here first thing in the morning and late at night. We do work through these and we do pay attention to all of that and we do negotiate. So I was actually happy with the 3%. A lot of these aren't giving us that 3%. They're more, so.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes, please. Okay, some of the things you said are troubling to me that we got multiple players doing this, that, and the other thing, but I guess that's part of the industry. After the cyber attack, are any of these things, did they come as recommendations that we should do to protect ourselves? Are these products correcting the problems? And did somebody else outside these walls say, hey, use this will work for you?
So we were initially having these conversations pre-cyber attack. Like Chad had mentioned, we started this a year ago. Just with the way our industry moves, you know, the cloud has higher availability than what we can provide. That's just the way that it works. And then in tandem with working with the 177 CPT, the National Guard, when they were here, their recommendation was anything we can get to the cloud for that availability is the way we should look at going. But this was one of those things that we've already been discussing prior to.
Well, it's kind of lessons learned. Are we applying things of the lessons learned that we just went through?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
it's
important.
across the board too. This is just the first stepping stone of many. But this is one like we started a year ago, so we are, you know, doing that one first, but there's a multitude of other things that we're looking at and investigating.
Okay, well, I get a little nervous on my little iPhone. It says your cloud, your storage is full. And I don't have anything on there. So I mean that I hopefully got bigger clouds than my cloud. But then here, just a real small problem. Why do we keep having problems here? I mean, Commissioner Vagley had a problem. I had a problem tonight. I've never.
A lot of it has to do with us still working through the kinks of our new security enhancements. We have locked ourselves down to the point where to let any traffic through, we're taking a toothpick and poking minuscule holes only where we need to.
Very locked down.
And it's not so much to do with the fact that it's user error. It's more us being so secure that we have to find avenues to allow. In working with the National Guard, we locked ourselves down to the Department of Defense standards just in the interim so that we were fully secure, knowing that as we progressed through restoration, we would have to loosen those restraints to conform to our environment. Because we're not the Department of Defense. We don't need, biometrics to get into every file and every door.
Sure.
But we still want to be as secure as we can. So it's requiring us to fine tune and loosen those restraints as things come up.
Okay, all right, okay.
Commissioner Olson has moved and Commissioner Myers seconded approval of what was 7.4, 7.5, and 7.6. Is there a further discussion?
Thank you for taking the time, guys.
Yeah,
No.
anytime.
Yep.
Okay, hearing none.
Build my confidence level.
Good.
Then we would be approving what we're currently calling 8.02, 8.03, and 8.04. It's approving the statement of work and data bank to upgrade OnBase, to approve the renewal with data bank for OnBase system maintenance, and to approve cloud hosting agreement with data bank. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Jen.
you.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good evening.
Commissioner Ellison, is the coffee behind you?
He's hiding
He's
it
hiding it.
over there.
It's only 7:30. I need some more.
What was previously item
Oh, it's
7.9 has been recategorized as 8.05. It is to approve the 2026 State of Minnesota Boat and Water Safety Grant Agreement.
Yeah, I just
Did
have
you
a
pull,
question.
Commissioner Ward?
Yeah, I have a question. I thought we approved something. Is this a second? We did some boat
did a
safety.
Yeah, we have one.
Okay. A question is on page 151, what membership dues and fees? What are we members of for $270?
171, Marcia?
Page 151. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I thought it was strange. I mean, there's equipment, there's training, there's building, but what am I paying dues and fees for? What, do I get a card to go somewhere or free pass to use the river or something?
No, this is what we're asking them to give us in the grant. So we send it.
Can you go to the microphone?
Yeah. Please, for the record.
All right.
Thank you.
So for our water patrol for the last few years, we've only had one officer, Troy Liebfried has been the only guy.
Yeah.
Can't fill the position. But when we reassigned Robbie Bethea this year, we sent him to training to cover water patrol laws and how to operate the boat safely. So that's part of that training. So we're asking the state to reimburse us for those kind of fees, costs and fees.
Okay, so it just looks very odd on there. All right, move to approve.
I'll second.
I'm gonna give
If there's
it,
benefits to membership, I want to know. what they
Commissioner
are.
Ward, and you guys both seconded it, so I'm gonna give it to Commissioner Reagan. Okay, so Commissioner Ward,
I'm gonna make a comment.
okay, is there any further discussion?
I just wanted to say how blessed we are that we can throw names out in our county and we know who we're talking about. Because there's a lot of counties, we would not have that conversation. We would have no idea who that person is. If we were in the metro, we're so disconnected and how fortunate we are to know people. That's it.
And I'll just say we've been really lucky that Troy stayed on with us for over 25 years.
Oh, 100%.
Who was out there in the fireworks?
Troy and Ben, actually.
Oh, Ben left.
Yeah, Ben was with
I
us.
saw they had to stop a barge out there. Good for them.
Oh, really?
Almost hit that, or that boat almost got hit, yeah.
Now that tugboat came up.
Okay, so Commissioner Ward moved, Commissioner Bagley seconded approval of the 2026 State of Minnesota Boat and Water Safety Grant Agreement. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Whoa, okay, we move on to item 8.1, appoint the Board of Adjustment liaison to the Planning Commission. Boy, it's kind of late in the year for this.
Didn't we do that?
Yes, we did not end up having a Board of Adjustment meeting until March.
Yeah.
And then with the second cybersecurity event, it kind of slipped through the cracks. And as we were double checking, we realized we needed to get that before you. So the Board of Adjustment did vote to reappoint Jordan Potter as the liaison to the Planning Commission. So this is just formality to complete that process.
I'll second that.
Okay. Commissioner Ward, did you have? a
No,
comment?
he does an
Okay.
excellent job.
He does, okay. Okay, motion by Commissioner Elsing, seconded by Commissioner Vagley to go ahead and appoint Jordan Potter as the Board of Adjustment Liaison to the Planning Commission. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 8.2, appoint 2 county board members to the Joint Airport Zoning Board. Now, I will point out that,
We haven't ever met.
no, we haven't this year, but we changed some of our positions and we agreed that you would be the person on that board, but apparently,
It still never happened. Yeah.
that's right, because
I
it
actually
isn't
wrote that down because I was kind of curious myself.
the same terms, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't come up and, but I'm happy to give you my position on that board
Sure.
if we change
So is that,
the resolution.
yeah, so we need a motion to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna motion myself.
I'll move to approve Commissioner Elzing. Commissioner Olson, are you okay?
Sure.
Okay, I'll move to approve Commissioner Elzing and Commissioner Olson to be appointed to the Joint Airport Zoning Board.
I'll second that.
I will advocate that does this airport accept small commercial jets?
To a
Big enough?
certain size, there's no contract, but you can land. You can land.
I'll check it
You ain't gonna
out.
get a 737 on it. I've flown, I've been a pilot. I used to fly out of there for years.
If I want to catch a ride someday, I'll have
Yeah.
to see if we can land.
Got really good brakes. They won't go into the rhubarb in their drink, I'll tell you that. It's actually more the concrete is the issue.
We were meeting during the pandemic, isn't that right, Commissioner Olson?
Mhm.
Yeah, because they redid the zoning because it wasn't in compliance with the
Yeah, they changed something.
emergency
didn't they?
area, yeah,
Yeah.
right. But other than that, in the 8 years, it's never met except for that, so. Okay, so Commissioner Vagley has moved, Commissioner Meyer has seconded, appointing 2 county board members to join the Airport Zoning Board. And those 2 members are Commissioner Elsing and Commissioner Olson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Okay, receive information and discuss awarding the 2027 to 2031 recycling services contract. And we're not making a decision, we're just discussing it.
We had brought this up kind of in continuance, correct?
Right. So we did take the recycling contract out for request for proposals. We had 4 contractors who attended the pre-bid meeting and we received 2 bids. What you have in your board packet is a summary of the bids. We did have a slight bid anomaly with one of the contractors where they mistook how to the price that they entered for the commercial and multifamily 96-gallon cart. So what
was highlighted on that.
that's what, that is what is highlighted. So if we discontinue, we take it, given the bids that were received, Harder's was the apparent low bidder. Hilltopper did come in with disregarding the anomaly. They were 216,000 higher in bid. With dividing their monthly bid that they had submitted in half, that would take the contract cost up to 256,000. Now, that would not address the monthly serviced and weekly serviced carts, which would still provide an issue. But given the other factors and the review of the other qualifications that we reviewed in the process, it seems a fairly a moot point. We have a competent bid at over 200,000 lower.
Please go ahead, Commissioner.
Do these bids address containers? Do we buy them? Do they replace them if they damage one? I mean.
Yes, all of that is included in the request for proposals as well as in the contract, which was part of the request for proposals. Winona County owns its containers. We currently do routine replacements. So we budget money annually for a certain amount of replacements. The multifamily sites and the commercial sites, the contractor provides those containers.
Commissioner Ward?
Property tax, you get a line item on your property taxes for this. Is that what we're collecting there? Is that still covering this service or? we're-
I'm hopeful, yes.
Okay, okay.
Based on the bid, essentially for many of the categories, the price for 2026 will be repeated in 2027 with a 1 cent increase on many areas and a slight reduction on the 2-yard dumpsters for multifamily and the commercial collection.
Now, the commercial and multifamily, they pay more, correct?
Yes, yes. Based on size, it is tiered the number of solid waste fees that they pay. So we're,
Do we monitor where these bins are if they're, do they collect per bin or, I know some households don't use them. I was on a bike ride today and at our county shop in Nodine, there's a little blue bin back around the corner by the big dumpster. There was a couple pieces of cardboard in there. I just don't know that it justifies having a blue bin if they come pick it up or not.
that is actually for the county's service for the maintenance shop. The other container for that had been requested for the residents for recycling drop off, still exists there. Yes. And that would increase the frequency at which that container is on call. So if we were picking up a 4-yard container every 2 weeks or something, then it would be much more expensive. So which is why we provide the 96-gallon cart for the highway shop's use. Overall, it's at a lower cost to the county by utilizing a smaller container. So it seems a little counterintuitive, but it is a better deal.
Their pop can in the bigger one and avoid the $5.
Well, but then we have to pull that one more frequently.
Oh,
So we don't empty that very often.
no, you don't. I know you don't. So, okay, well, I guess we need to analyze if that, yeah, obviously you already have that fee collected is covering the cost of it.
There's been a lot of changes, but with the pricing that came in for 2027, I feel pretty good about it right now.
So am I right? This is on page 182. And you guys have done an analysis based on this chart here?
Mhm.
And you assigned points and you reviewed the contracts and assigned points based on a set of criteria. And Harder's came out with 98 and Hilltopper came out with 73.
Yep.
So
I'm sorry.
The-
Oh, I've gone blank again here.
That's not that.
I'd be happy to give you my copy.
Yeah, I can't.
The majority of that was related to
Yep.
the lowest bid.
But actually, yeah, 25%.
And the rest of it was mostly attributable
Yes,
to
I saw that.
the RFP from Hilltopper did not
No, we're
detail.
not making the decision. Commissioner Vagley.
Commissioner Elson read my mind. We're not making a decision tonight. This is
No.
just an update, right?
And it'll
So
be-
no motions are necessary.
No.
No.
Thank you.
I would make the recommendation to proceed with executing a contract and awarding the bid. We can do that together at the next meeting, or I can just put it, would you want it on consent to award and then follow up with contract? I can do it either way.
Whatever's most.
Do you have a
Yeah.
preference?
So perhaps you could start us off by telling us which of the two contractors you have a preference?
I think the Harders is the clear. Is it okay to make a motion to Ross? Could you repeat that again?
Tell him what he's gonna
It's
say.
been a long day.
Yeah, it's, my recommendation would be that you award and execute a contract at the July 14th meeting with Harders.
Oh, with Harder's, there we go. That's,
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
like to make that motion.
Second.
okay.
Right.
Okay.
To award and execute a contract with Harders at the July 14th meeting.
So Commissioner Vagley moves, Commissioner Olson seconds, going ahead with a contract for Harder's and to have that on the agenda at the July 14th meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, please say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, Ross. That was our last item. Oh, okay, here we go. So Commissioner Vagley has 2 comments.
The first deals with the Law Enforcement Center, but I'm looking forward to the discussion at our next meeting, where we're gonna hear an update on the studies to look at different options for the Law Enforcement Center.
That is our hope. yes.
So what I don't wanna go there, but here's what I do wanna say. I will make it clear to the public and to the city speaking from myself only, that I am still very interested in discussions and especially studying the issue of the city and county staying together at the law enforcement center. If there's been any mixed messages that the city council has received or has perceived, I speak for myself only, I am very interested in continuing to explore the possibility of the county and city staying together. I don't have enough information to make an informed decision yet. We need that study, but I think that what might be in the best interest, better services at a lower cost, would be to have the city and county stay together. So I just want to say that, speaking for myself only. And then for secondly, I want to try to connect three dots. Item 7.3 was the cattle pass replacement, $62,000.
Yeah. Yes.
Library funding, $76,000. And July 4th, I'm going to connect July 4th library funding and cattle pass replacements. We do need to replace cattle passes
July 4th.
July 4th in terms of the 250th anniversary.
Oh.
The shirt you're wearing.
Yeah.
The pin I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So here's the connection. We need to replace expensive cattle passes, and we need to invest in libraries because our public libraries are one of the pillars of this beautiful, fragile thing that we call American democracy. Public libraries, public schools, public services. So I enjoyed all of the input and discussion tonight. And I want to just remind everyone again of every July 4th is a special birthday, but this is an extra special birthday. This country was founded as a protest against kings. And I'm worried that so many people today seem to want another king. I am so very proud of our American history and our heritage, and I hope people take a moment to reflect. I'm glad to see some of the 250th signage popping up and people, us often in the form of advertising or new sales promotions. But I love the fact that some people I think are more aware of how special this next birthday is in July 4th. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do need cattle pass replacements, and we need to fund our libraries.
Commissioner Elsing.
Yeah. So a couple things on the docket. Thank Mr. Bamanek for bringing these up today. Just had the privilege to honor a couple scenarios here in the county. Or there we go. We said it.
Senator.
Said it earlier. It's a big one, but 150 years for the Beaver Out Dairy. That's up in the northern part of the county. It's a Speltz family up there. I believe it originally might have been Leo's. So hard to believe 150 years for that. So, and then also on the Century Farms side was the Heim Farms in St. Charles. So 1921. And the other one was 1876. Can you believe that? It's insane. So country was 100 years old. So just thank you to the fine folks that, obviously have been farming all these generations and feeding us. So next thing I wanted to bring up, kind of goes hand in hand a little bit of that, is the fair. It's coming up. Make mention of that usually 2 months in advance. So I encourage everybody to be a part of that. Take a look at the 4-H stuff, attend the fair activities that are there. It's what keeps it going. And we're very fortunate to have a very well-attended fair. And so just hope everybody can be there. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward.
Okay, first thing, and I think they all, home now, the library people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I would like is we appoint a person to represent us on the Selco Library Board. And I'm at a loss who that person is. We do, and I would like that person. See, I think some of the miscommunication is that, we don't, a number of years ago, we used to pick and choose each library and gave them staff allocated dollars to each one. The last many years, we give the total sum to Selco. Now, is Selco going to change any of the funding? I have no idea. Are other counties, and other organizations that fund them in a budget? I think we should get a report. I would like to ask for a report from our Selco representative from Winona County to clarify how they determine funding, because it may not be in our hands. If we even give them the same that we've always given them, they may have to shuffle things around. I don't know.
So we have that information already. I can get that out to the board.
But I would like this person to come to us and give us a little,
So you want the Selco representative? to
I
come?
think so. I think it's only fitting.
I
that-
get them at Costco.
Again, we don't even know who that person is, but we appoint them. I
Okay, are
would
you
like us
asking
to.
for like a second?
Yes.
Okay, I'm open to having a Selco presentation. We had one once, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
been a
number of
long
years ago
time.
now.
Again, I mean, I don't want it to be out of our hands. If it is, it is. I mean, but we should know. So that's one thing. And then I know Commissioner Meyer and I attended, and then there was Eugene Hansen, data centers. There was a presentation in this, happened to be in Lewiston. It was a University of Minnesota presentation. It was interesting. It was like how decisions are made. But I don't think I heard it there, but I think I heard it. There's a lot of talk about data centers across the nation and everything. And the library people probably wouldn't like this, but they said data centers, think of them as libraries with lots of books on them. I don't know if I can agree with that, but what's a data center? It's got all the, it's on shelves and it's, that's a comment that somebody made. So data centers, and I know we're going to be discussing that at the planning, and a lot of communities are looking at them and trying to figure. The discussion was who are the players that make the decisions and how do you make the decisions?
Are you going to Shack on Thursday?
I am planning on it. Yes, public health. I don't keep telling them we need more clean water money.
Motion to it. Oh, you have one.
I have one thing, yes. Okay, I want to talk about the spongy moth treatments. So the Department of Ag sent out these cards. I got one at my house because Winona is one of the areas. And so they are going to start on the 24th, and they may be starting in in the mornings as early as 6:30 and going throughout the day. The treatment, I know, I swear that I
They
see
did,
a
because
plane
I've received
on
phone
Sunday.
calls. I received phone calls Sunday morning.
So their press release says not until Wednesday, the 24th, but I agree with you because I saw them during
Yeah, they
the
did.
parade lineup for Steamboat Days.
I got 2 phone calls.
At any rate, if you didn't get a card, you can Google this, but then they can text you. There's a phone number, then they'll text you the exact information about your area. So just wanted to inform people about that, in case they see planes flying over.
Real quick, just on that, as a reminder, and I had to refresh myself, it's a phenol they're spraying and all it does is just confuse so they can't mate.
Yeah. And it's not toxic to humans.
One of the growers was organic and was concerned.
Our business for the day.
Should we adjourn?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Olson moves, Elsing seconds, adjournment. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. We are adjourned.
So commissioners, real quickly, Deputy Tanner Clay did make contact with Twin Bluffs Bar